the other corner of the island, we will finish in 2024. And just an example of what we are planning for the future, this is the area of the central train station of the city that is in the city center and is divided into different neighborhoods. In this place, and using the opportunity that brings us the high-speed train that is coming to the city, we are planning to put the high-speed train on a third level below. The commuter train will be in the first level below the surface, and that way we will be able to develop a new central park in all this area with new buildings, with new developments in both corners. We are planning around 1,000 new dwellings in this area, with 40% of them social and affordable housing, although they are going to be in the city center. And of course, all the public facilities, and we are going to preserve the old train station also. Probably the train station will be used for a public facility. I think it will be the easiest way of transforming it and at the same time preserving the historical value of it. So this is what I wanted to show you. If you have any questions, I will like to answer them. Thank you.
Can you sit down for a minute? Take a seat. That is so inspirational, absolutely amazing. Are there any questions? And do we still have Art here with his dangerous microphone? Yes, we do. OK, Art, do you want to go to that gentleman over there and then these two people here, please? It's a fantastic story, isn't it? And but it really is for the long term.
I think it's the case of Bilbao. It's long-term planning. I think it's impossible if you are thinking just in one political term to make it to develop all these infrastructures. Many of them we have been developing them for many years. For example, with the island of Zorrozaurre, we first started in 2008. We are in 2022 and still we haven't finished. So you must plan in the long term. But for making that possible, it's important to gather all the political parties. Recently, we have approved the general urban plan of the city for the next 20 years, and only 3 of 29 councillors voted against it, because we have got to an agreement wide between all the political parties, so that even if there is a change in the government, we are not starting again from the beginning, from a white paper.
I think we need our big tent next year in Bilbao. I think we absolutely do.
You should come, you should come.
Yeah, we will. We'll be there. Yes, gentleman over there, you have a question.
Thank you. I just wondered if I could ask about funding, because it sounds like you spent an awful lot of money, and I think you said have paid off debts. Just wondered what the model for that is. Is it about local taxation? Is it about sort of making gains from the development you do? What's the secret to spending all that money so effectively?
Well, good question.
And then, Art, if you move over here while I see her answers the question. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Well, we have used public-private partnership, of course, and to make that possible, it's important also to make a realistic plan. I mean, you cannot figure anything thinking that you will sell the dwellings at, I don't know, €500,000 each, and that's impossible. But apart from the public-private partnership, it's also important to explain that in our case, the Basque Country is an exception in Europe. Although we are part of Spain, we are economically independent, 6.24% of the budget of Spain. And with the rest, we pay everything. We pay security, education, infrastructure, so we can invest in whatever we want and whatever we think it's important for us. And with that 6.24% that we pay to the Spanish government, is supposed to be to cover those services that the Spanish government is offering us, or is supposed to offer in many cases. But we don't care, because with the rest we manage ourselves. But it's important to say that it's an independency for the good and for the bad, which means that if we manage the budget well, we have more money to do more things. If we manage the budget bad, the Spanish government is not covering us, so the risk is only for us. And in the Basque Country, we sit in the same round table every year, the 3 institutional levels, Basque government, land governments, and representatives of the municipalities, to decide which is going to be the budget for the next year. And once the year has passed, we close the budget and we say, OK, we have gathered more or less money than the one expected. And in the same round table, we distribute the extra money or the lacking money. So it's important to know that in this point, the Basque Country is an exception.
Fantastic, thank you. So the question over here, please.
Hello, Asia. It's Dagmar here. My question is about how innovation and technology moves on while you are doing all this planning. Because from 2008 to 2022, net zero infrastructure, cycling, heating systems, digital infrastructure, all of those things. How do you deal with that?
Well, in many cases, we over the time, we are making adaptations of the plan, of course. In the case of the island, we had to take on account also the climate change risk. So all the island its height is elevated, so that is protected from the floods in the future. But as we are preserving some historical buildings, we are protecting those buildings from the floods with barriers, with tanks to gather the rainwater in the island. So we are all the time renewing also the strategy, but the main objective is not changed. So there are minimum adaptations of the plan, we can say, as we are going ahead. The master plan of the General Urban Plan of 1995, which one was the one defining all these transformations. Of course, in 30 years, many things changes. So along those 30 years, we have changed and adapted the plan to the situations and the new things that were incorporated in the city at each time.
We've got time for one more very quick question.
Thank you very much. My name is Robin Hambleton. I'm Professor of City Leadership at the University of the West of England. Firstly, thank you for that inspiring presentation, and congratulations on the inclusive approach that you've developed in your city. My question is to just ask you to say a tiny bit more about the fiscal power of the city. Earlier, Neil O'Brien said the devolution of power had taken place in England. This is not true. There's been a super centralisation of power, and it would be good for us to learn more of your experience. What taxes do you have to raise local revenue, and what proportion of your spending is from local sources? Thank you.
I think you two need to meet up and continue this conversation afterwards, but do answer the question quickly.
Nearly between 30 and 40% of the budget that we have every year comes from direct local taxes, and the rest is coming from that round table that I have said previously, that they are general taxes, general budget from the Basque Country that is distributed in that round table where we are together, the Basque government, the land government, and the municipalities. Nearly from all the money that is gathered in the Basque Country, around 30% of the whole budget is for the Basque government, and the other 30% is distributed among the land governments and the municipalities. But apart from that, the municipalities, we have our own local taxes to complement that money that is coming from the general budget.
Fantastic. Asia, Abanza, thank you so much for sharing the story of Bilbao. Thank you. I don't normally like PowerPoint slide displays, but that was absolutely inspirational. Right, we're now going to the breakout sessions. If you've already chosen the one you want, you probably know where it is. There are two others that are not in the programme, and these were voted by you. So session 1 is How Do We Make Our City Greener, Rosie Walker. And session 2 at 4:10 is Claiming Space, Women Can Regenerate Politics, Francis Scott. Both of those are in the green room. There's a whole load of other stuff going on. There's the bookshop, there's the community fair, there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's our big tent, Radix big tent over there, with lots of information about Radix big tent and what we do. Go away, have a lovely breakout, have a break, come back here for 5 o'clock, please.